to part 3 as Kylie continues her 1-minute tirades online, discussing how victimized she was from losing a debate and feeling disrespected. It was worse for her than, well, other horrible things. Andrew, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Well, I have a response to this. A woodchuck would chuck all the wood that a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. How do you like that? You know what? Just for that, you owe me another $5 because that was awesome. That was awesome, okay? Send in another $5. You lost. You took the L on that one. Mike 3 for 10 says, hard to wrap my head around why this isn't incredibly embarrassing for her. Victimizing herself and making excuses for her debate performance, digging a hole so deep she'll lie to a court judge. They will. I want you to note the very first thing that she said, that we see here, right here. A response from one of her viewers who says, it's like digital SA. Digital SA. Right here at the bottom, it says, being on Red Pill Media felt like being SA'd. Being on the podcast to her, being on Red Pill Media felt like being SA'd. That's what she says.
That's exactly what going on this podcast felt like.
So I'll just read this again. Being on Red Pill Media felt like being SA'd. It's like digital SA. Her opening is...
That's exactly what going on this podcast felt like.
Is that what it felt like? Is it? Well, Kylie, when you said not to talk to you like that, that felt like digital SA. It's what it felt like. 150 IQ? Right. Yeah, right. Digital Roman helmet. They're so stupid. They're so dumb.
Made me feel violated in so many ways, disrespected and used.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt when she was digitally herself without my consent. I did not appreciate that. You know, it's really funny on this podcast. The only people I can think of who've ever been SA'd on that podcast is me. The only one I'm aware of who's ever been SA'd on that podcast was me by women.
In addition to them having me fly across the country and front the bill myself with the promise of paying me back, which they didn't.
Well, here's the thing, right? So I'm just going to point this out. Basically, every time I've ever gone on whatever, I have fronted the costs, and then Brian has paid me back after the content is made. There was a time where I had to cancel content, and so guess what he didn't do? He didn't give me any money. Now, why would it be the case that Brian wouldn't give me any reimbursement money for me not making him any content? Why would that be the case? Now, me, of course, I was extremely upset by the fact that I didn't do my job and so didn't get paid for not doing my job. I know. It's crazy. Crazy. Don't know if this actually went through. Google. I cut back on my drink consumption. Rather give it to someone who gives me entertainment. Excellent. See, we're both helping each other out. Just from hearing this, I feel like I need to go to digital trauma therapy. I'm a survivor. Yes, I've not only survived many bouts of digital SA with women, but actual SA in the studios from women, where they actually do that. But isn't it crazy that the time that I broke my end of an agreement, now this was due to an emergency, don't get me wrong, but that doesn't actually entitle me to get reimbursed if I'm not making the In other words, if I'm not holding up on my end of the agreement, there's no reason that a reasonable person should have any expectation of reimbursement. By the way, I never even bothered to ask. There was never any clarification needed. You don't do what you agreed to do, you don't get paid. Now, this works in reverse, too. If you do come on and do what you're supposed to do and don't get paid, then you have some grievances. Or if the other end, goes after the contract, then you have some grievances. Wait, she was in studio live in person? And it was digital essay? Yes, correct. Digital essay. That's correct. Yes. This won't go anywhere. I doubt she's getting legal advice. No lawyer would allow her to make such claims in her video if this were going somewhere. You act like these people... what you act like is that these people live in a world where operating off of the advice of an attorney. She has a 150 IQ. She knows better than the lawyer, stupid. Batman gifted a Crucible membership over on the R side. I appreciate it. Very kind of you. I would say she digitally essayed the entire audience every single time she was being provocative with her breasts. She was essaying everybody who was watching digitally. They didn't consent to that. They showed up for a debate, not to watch this troglodyte toggle her boobs back and forth in a live studio. They didn't sign up for that, did they?
Made them so much money that they asked me to come back 3 times.
Well, okay. She didn't make me any money, and I didn't ask her to come back ever. So there's that. I guess when she says they, she just means Brian. Maybe she doesn't understand the proper use of pronouns. Many of these people don't. Many of them don't.
Within 24 hours. And when I told them to pay me back, they sent me a threatening, abusive email.
Ah, yes, a threatening and abusive email. Now, luckily for us, Brian posted the email so that we can read it and see how threatening and abusive it was.
Felt not like a human being.
Ah, I felt like not like a human being. I see. I understand now. You felt not like a human being. What does that even mean?
I was harassed on the basis of being a woman, told that I was stupid, talked over.
Yeah, well, that's true. I did tell her she was stupid. But where's the lie? No lies told. Then she posts this. Depression, disruption in close relationship, loss of interest in sex, and fear and anxiety cause physical, mental, and behavioral reactions, all of which may lead the assault survivor to feel as though he or she has no control over her life. Most importantly, all of these reactions are normal responses to the traumatic event you have experienced. She's digitally essayed, ladies and gentlemen. A brand new form of madness.
Talked down to.
Why is she complaining about money? She looks like she eats well.
And I was made to cry 2, 3, 4 times.
You were made to cry. That's a very interesting way to frame that. I was made to cry. Well, no, nobody made you cry. You just cried. And then when I pointed out that I didn't believe you're crying and that it was just a form of manipulation, which went along with her. So, listen. I very rarely make this claim. Rarely. Right? Because it's mostly just nonsensical. But if there was a classification, a realistic classification for a narcissist, Kylie would be the very embodiment of what that is. The whole world revolves around Kylie's feelings. Kylie can be digitally essayed in her mind and it manifests as a reality. And so therefore, she was indeed essay digitally. And there's nothing, of course, you can do about the frame of feeling. The idea that I feel this way, therefore real, therefore happened. There's no defense against it. You can't falsify how a person feels. You just look at the objective reality of what happened or didn't happen, and nothing more. And this is one of the biggest problems with this entitlement of just thinking the whole world revolves around you. It doesn't. And it doesn't revolve around me. It doesn't revolve around the chat. The world doesn't revolve around this. It's like the ultimate real form. If you're going to call somebody a narcissist, that would be the behavior you'd be pointing at. Not, oh, you're confident and you can argue well. The level of manipulation this woman deploys is unreal. What's even more mind-boggling is people actually believe this true. I feel completely violated by her insane for the grift, brother. Appreciate that. Brian says, hi, Andrew. I'm a huge fan. Well, hi, Brian. I'm a huge fan of letting you be a fan. I appreciate that.
I went open to the back and just sobbed. I really tried.
Right. And I am going to just point out, look, I know, like I've seen all these the cry hard women, right? They're not try hards, they're cry hards. I've seen all the cry hards on X, right? When they go after guys like Steven Crowder and they're like, oh my God, it makes her cry, blah, 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 blah. I just want to be very clear about this. I don't give a I don't give a not even a little bit. That stuff, to me, just forms of manipulation, means nothing to me. Nothing. It's just you being a idiot. But I went and I cried. I don't care. I don't give a shit. And they really have no defense against it. It's only when you try to go in and defend. You try to be like, look, I really didn't do anything wrong. Don't do that. Just look them right in the eye and say, F you. Go cry then. Go cry. Go cry. I don't care. Go cry. I don't give a shit. No defense against that at all. None. This idea that you perpetually have to put up with from women because otherwise they'll cry. Let them cry. Let them cry. Go cry. Get it out of your system. And when you're all done crying, come back and we can address reality. Stalker12 gives 5 Crucible memberships. Very kind to you. Didn't you know facts started caring about and accommodating your feelings? Yeah, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? Which is worse, her or Desiree? Personally, I'd say the latter. She's worse than Desiree. Actually worse. Like far worse, in fact. I felt afraid. I felt trapped. I felt disrespected. I felt assaulted. I felt traumatized. Well, I felt traumatized by her tantrums and stupidity. Exactly.